Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll see the program of array of object using class and object program. Why we are using this array of object? For example, we are writing a program for a class and object where we'll print that detail of a student or detail of the employee, right? So we can print only one detail or one information about the student or the employee, you can say. So if you want to print more than one values, right, of an employee or of a student, so we can use array of object, right? How to declare this array of object? For example, this the name of the class employee is here, right? So this is the name of the class, and this is the employee object emp. So what I can do, I can make it array, and I can declare the size of this array. That means we can create 10 details. We can store 10 details of employees. So this is the syntax of creating the array of object. So let's start with the program. We'll write a program for array of object. As include iostream.h. We'll write here using namespace stt. See, we are creating a class employee. So we'll write here employee class. We'll declare this name of the employee as well as this employee ID. So declare this variable int id, then another variable name. So write here name, data type, we'll declare a member function. So within the public section, we'll write here void get data. And another member function void display. Once we define the member function, close this declaration part of this class. Now we can define this member function one by one. So we'll write here return type void class name employee, scope position operator, first member function. So this is void get data. Now this function is used for the input. So we'll write here enter the ID. So write here cout enter employee ID. Cin, the variable I have used here, cin, this is id. Cout enter the name of employee, employee, cin, will write name. So these are the two inputs which we will be declaring here. Now the same we can print through this second member function definition. We'll write here void then class name employee, scope resolution operator, next member function name, this is void display. Opening bracket and closing bracket will display here. So id, imply id is, you can write here new line, another function, so we'll write a new line, imply name is, see we have to print that value of employee and the ID of employee, so we'll write here ID, we'll write here name. See, this is the definition of the second member function, where we are defining these two values and displaying the ID as well as the name of the employee. Now we are moving to this main function, right? So we need to create the main function. So we'll write here int main. We'll create the object of the class employee. So we'll write here employee. See, this is the object of this employee. Now you should remember, we are declaring here array. So here earlier we are declaring this object as a normal object, right? But I'll be declaring it as a array of object. So for example, we are putting here 10. So that means maximum we can take 10 arrays. Now you can declare here int n I. Okay, you can write here cout, enter the number of employees, so you can provide the number of employees. For example, 3 employees you want to display, then you can write 3. Okay, and we'll provide that input as n. Now you need to access the member function, right? Since we are displaying the value for 3 employees or 4 employees or 5 employees. Okay, so we need to use this for loop. And it will start from 0. So since we have declared it I as iteration, so what we can do here, if you are accessing the member function, right, for get data as well as this display function, so we'll write here for loop for I is equal to 0, then I is less or equal to n, or you can say I is less than n, and I plus plus. And now we have to call this member function get data. So what I can write here, we'll write here array emp, then we'll write here value I dot, you can see this is get data. So this is for the first member function. Now it will be repeated for the second member function also. Okay, so this is, I can write here, this is employee data, and that can be displayed. So simply you just write here cout employee data, it goes to the new line, Here NL is for this new line also. And when you are accessing the member function, because this is for input, this member function is for the input, and now we can use another member function, that is display function we have used here, right? So we'll call this display function, but again for this we'll write here for loop also. So for I is equal to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus, and we'll call this member function emp I dot, we'll write here display function, and then we'll write here return 0. So simply when we are writing a program for this array of object, right, we have to declare the object as an array. Okay, we can take the inputs, maybe that 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, and when you are calling this member function, you need this for loop for accessing these variables, right? So that array object will be used to call the member function here, empi.getData, and again this empi.display function. Okay, so I have written this program. I can just write here. Now I can run this program. You can see that if you want to display the number of employees, so enter the number of employees. For example, I want to display that 3 employees data. So write here employee ID, then name of the employee. Okay, then again that second employee ID, I can write here 4, 5, 6. I'll write here Amit. Third employee is member for this employee ID, so I can write here. Okay, you can see that this is the information about all the 3 employees. So it will take the input till it will satisfy, and once it will get all the inputs, the information will be displayed on the screen. So I just repeat once again this program. You can see that I have taken here employee as a class, then ID and that name. Okay, I have declared these 2 member functions, getData and display function, and now we'll define these 2 member functions, getData and display functions, right? And when you go to the main function, you need to create the array of objects. So object of the employee will be displayed here, and then I have taken here INTN and n means that how many employees you require for informations, right? And then again at the runtime we'll take the information about the employees. So cout and cin function. Since we are using this array of object, then what we'll do, we'll use this for loop for taking the informations more than once, right? So then again we'll call this array of object and dot member function. So ei dot get data. Again when that input will be taken, so information will be displayed again through this display function, right? So this is all about this array of object information. You can see that I have given 3 inputs, right? It will take the inputs one by one, first employee ID, second employee name of the employee, then second employee ID, then name of the employee, third employee ID and the name of the employee, and then the information will be displayed. Okay, so thank you for watching my video. Thank you everyone.